John tells us explicitly it is that love of God that we experience in the incarnation, that he sent love in his Son to us. And he asks us to love him and to love others and not to worry about all this other stuff. And yet we do. We set up our own barriers. Oh, I can't love that person. They're not of the same race as I am. Or, oh, I can't love that person because they're not the same religion. Or I can't love that person because they're straight. I can't love that person because they're gay. I can't love that person because they're a Republican. I can't love that person because they're a Democrat. And you know there are people who are out there that do just that. And God says to us in John's letter, that stuff doesn't matter. What's important is that we are beloved of God now. What we shall later be will come to pass. But believing in Jesus and loving God and loving neighbor as ourself, you and I attain salvation. Is it an easy road? No. Even within families, there are bonds that are strained. Another short story from my own family life. My great-grandmother's name was Hannah. And before she died in 1948, might have been 49, but back in that time frame, she'd been in an automobile accident, and my grandmother cared for her mother in her own home. And there was a small insurance settlement, but after all of the bills were paid for the hospital, the funeral, there was $50 left. And that $50, my grandmother instructed, was to be given to my grandmother for caring for her. Well, let me tell you, nothing like a good funeral to bring out the infighting. My grandmother's sister-in-law had a fit. Just thought it was terrible, carried on to high heavens, and for 40 years they were estranged. My uncle, my great uncle and aunt and my grandmother did not speak until my great aunt got sick. And who was one of the first ones to go and help care for her outside of her immediate children was my grandmother, because she realized that the bonds of family love exceed that of pettiness. That's a realization that doesn't come to all people too quickly sometimes. But yet you hear it again. Love is what God sent to us. Love is the model he holds up to us in family life. And if we try to love, even in our imperfections, God loves us back, and we have reason to rejoice.